In 5-1, Shy Guy Jungle of Paper Mario Sticker Star, there's a large heap of trash paper littered all around one of the rooms. Normally, this is a problem because there's a spear guy hiding out in the trash, and they stole a piece of the bridge that you need to cross to progress in the game. But for me, this was a problem because I am a lore enthusiast, and I don't think there's any easy-to-access documentation of this room's unintentional lore pieces in particular anywhere. And I think everyone should be allowed to enjoy Mario lore. And so I spent over an hour running around in circles in this room. 0 out of 10 experience. Would not recommend doing something like this yourself. This was extremely fucking stupid and insane of me to do, and that's why I'm sharing my findings, so hopefully no one has to attempt this ever again unless they absolutely want to suffer. So, with that said, what exactly is this room's gimmick? Well, like I mentioned, because of the trash heap, you can't find where the spear guy ran off to because they're hiding in the trash. The solution to this puzzle is to paperize and then summon either vacuum, upright vacuum, or the goat. It doesn't really matter which one of them you summon because any one of them will clear the path. Theoretically, this setup would also work with mini vacuum since they're a part of the vacuum line. However, you can't meet them until the very next stage, Jungle Rapids, so in a non-sequence break-in playthrough, it would be impossible to summon them in Shy Guy Jungle to clean up the mess. However, if you cannot immediately summon any of them, or if you feel like goofing off a little before you proceed, you can run around the room and pull out little scraps of paper to read from, with various nods, references, unintentional lore pieces, and jokes written on them. On occasion, you can also end up pulling up a single enemy from the trash heap, either a spear guy, but not the one you're looking for, a sniffet, or a piranha plant. After the trash is cleaned up, though, you can no longer view the notes or any of their flavor texts. This isn't too big of a deal, none of the notes are important to the gameplay, and none of them are important to the story of the game.
Well, if the notes don't have any plot relevance and they aren't mechanically necessary to view for any reason, why did you even bother?
Because I am a Mario lore enthusiast, and if no one else will document Mario lore, I have to! For my sake, and for others. Even if no one else uses whatever lore I've managed to glean from these random flavor texts in the same way that I do, I know there's at least one person out there who would be interested in something like this. So, yeah. I spent over an hour running around this one room, pulling up the notes, and occasionally beating the shit out of whatever enemies were foolish enough to stand in between me and the lore. And, in doing so, I actually managed to not only find at least the vast majority of the possible notes in the room, but also discover the trick behind the room's gimmick. So let me cover both of those here. Let's start with a more mechanical explanation, since the dryness of this section will make the next one all the more interesting. Initially, when simply watching Sticker Star playthroughs, I assumed that the room contained multiple events at fixed waypoints in the room. I thought these events were set to display a single string of text randomly selected from a designated pool of strings every single time Mario interacted with them. The current event would then deactivate until Mario interacted with a few more events at different waypoints, at which point the deactivated events would start reactivating again. At the time, I did not realize that enemies could even spawn in that room. When I arrived at this point in my own personal playthrough, determined to find every last note, I realized that my assumptions about the inner workings of this room's mechanic weren't entirely true. There do seem to be fixed waypoints, but only one event ever spawns at a random waypoint every time you interact with it. In effect, the event ends up teleporting around the room at random, so every time you want to read another note, you have to run around essentially feeling for the event, and then remember to press A to interact with the event once you pass over the spot. Normally I wouldn't be complaining about this too much. While it is annoying to run around every time, sure, it wouldn't be so complaint-inducing if it actually pulled from a pool of strings of text every time. Well, it doesn't. Because as it turns out, there are no waypoints. There are merely several events present in the room at different set locations, and all but one of them are deactivated at any given time. Every one of those events is associated with a specific string of text, so in reality, only one string of text can be presented at a given location. Now, once the currently active event is interacted with and displays its respective string of text, the active event deactivates and another one activates at random. Thus, it gives the impression of the event teleporting to different waypoints, at least if you're not testing it repeatedly for over an hour and observing it empirically, which I was. The game does appear to have something of a failsafe here, though, from what I can tell at least. Because of the way that events activate and deactivate, and because each event is tied to its own string of text, you can never get the same text twice in a row. I didn't really get the same string of text after a new string of text had appeared either. When I started getting the same text, it would take a little while for said same text to show up again. I don't know how far the failsafe is supposed to go exactly, but it does keep the rotation of flavor text relatively fresh for a little while. But what about the enemy encounters? They happen far less often than pulling up a note, to the point that I didn't even know about them until playing the game myself and experimenting. From what I can tell from their frequency, they seem to appear after you pull up a given amount of notes within a certain range. I'm not exactly sure what exactly the specific range would be, however.
Why even go through all this effort to put optional enemy encounters in this room in the first place, though? Most players aren't going to pull up that many notes in one go.
That's a good question and a good point. My guess is that the enemy encounters are for two main reasons. The first is to give the player a little bit of variety, because if the player encounters an enemy from pulling up tons of notes, it means they've probably been spending the last few minutes pulling up notes and doing nothing but that. Doing the same thing over and over in a game, especially something entirely optional and unnecessary for progression, gets boring. So to freshen things up a little, occasionally an enemy will pop up to keep you company. The second reason is to try to discourage players from continuously pulling up notes, since it wastes their time. Players aren't meant to find all of the hidden notes messages. They're meant to play the game normally, by solving the puzzle and moving on with the game already. So of course the game is going to try to subtly give you the hint that, hey, you might want to take a step back and rethink this puzzle. As a side note, you can't get first strikes in these enemy encounters, but neither will they first strike you. Time for the fun part. I'm going to have screenshots of my 3DS showcasing all of the notes that I found up on the screen, and I'm gonna read them to you. I'm also gonna provide a little commentary and some of my thoughts about the notes' contents. If you just want to read the notes with no further commentary, feel free to mute the video and pause to read at your own leisure. I've organized the notes in order of grouped or serial notes to one-off singular notes, and then from most understandable to most vague in meaning. I found 41 notes total, which is a little concerning since 41 is a weird number in comparison to, say, 45. If there are more notes that I missed, please let me know in the comments so I can put out a small follow-up video documenting them. Anyway, without further ado, let's see what these notes say, starting with the grouped notes. Heart of a woman, heart of a man, both shaken by love's grace. So tie a pink ribbon, that's all about. Just try not to get egg on your face. These two notes appear to be a version of Birdo's ballad in 4-1, Snow Rise. Interestingly, the line "so tie a pink ribbon, dance all about" doesn't show up when she sings it in that stage. Additionally, the punctuation of the first line, "heart of a woman, heart of a man," is different between the two versions. In Snow Rise, there's a comma between woman and the second heart instead of an ellipses. Snow Rise's version also has a different second lyric, both can know of love's grace, instead of Shy Guy Jungle's both shaken by love's grace. Given the location that these two notes are found, it's highly possible that these are prototype lyrics for her song. Step 1. Comet! 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 Both hands in the air, turn on one leg, leap, then ground pound like a comet. Step 2. From the night sky. Wave both hands, crouch, triple lutz, pause, triple waggle, double thumbs up. Step 3. Grab my wish! Backflip, shimmy, back to step 1. These 3 notes seem to describe in more detail the choreography and lyrics of the dance that the Decal Bird Toads perform after the Sticker Fest stage is fully fixed after recovering 5 of the royal stickers. Given the acrobatic nature of a triple lutz and backflip, as well as the fact that the dance requires a ground pound, I don't think this dance would be very easy to replicate in real life, but don't quote me on that one. I don't know how to dance. Sticker Fest, A Falling Star Night's Dream. Decal Arena, F7, Standing Room Only, Mushroom Business Association. This appears to be some sort of document pertaining to a sponsorship for the Sticker Fest. I would assume that Decal Arena is the name of the venue that they're using as the stage for the Sticker Fest, but honestly I'm not entirely sure, as this is the only line that Decal Arena is referenced in, so there's no indication if this is the case or not. I also don't know if F7 is supposed to refer to the sector reserved for the Mushroom Business Association, or if it's supposed to mean the Decal Arena has 7 whole floors. Also in the trash heap are several business cards belonging to members of the Mushroom Business Association. They read as follows. Mushroom Business Association, Representative Director, President Toad. Mushroom Business Association, Block Enterprise Group, POW Chapter, Vice President Toad. Mushroom Business Association, General Affairs Division, Soda Branch Section, Chief Toad. Mushroom Business Association, Warp Pipe Development Unit, Material Department, Vice President Toad. Insert obligatory haha everyone is Toad's joke here, not because I think it'd be particularly funny, but because I know that if I don't head this off at the pass, someone else is going to comment something like that, and cause a fight over which Paper Mario game is best, because this fandom is just like that. The point of this video is to showcase something obscure in the game, not to share opinions, steep yourselves in toxicity as this hell fandom, so let's just move on to the next group of notes. That's right, sticker horoscopes. I would assume that there would be 12 of these for every month of the year, or 10 if there was no July and August to force September, October, November, and December to not live up to their names, but I could only find these 3. I suppose we'll just have to imagine the others with the power of headcanons. All of these are puns on their respective stickers' use in battle. There's one for the shiny iron jump, one for the shiny shell, and one for the flashy sandal. Yep. To the mighty iron jump, pay the spikes in life no mind, but be not negligent. To the fancy flashy sandal, now is your chance to change. To the stoic shiny shell, do not retreat into your shell. These are so intriguing. I'd love to know what the others would look like. Like, what are all the zodiac signs in this fictional universe? What kinds of qualities are they associated with? What are the birthdays associated with them? Are they super similar to zodiac signs in real life, or are they different? Is this fictional system of zodiac signs based on Western zodiac signs, or Chinese zodiac signs, or... there's so many more questions to these unlocked just by existing in game! Also, random tangentially related fun fact for the day. According to Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, Bowser reads his horoscope and cites it in conversation. His canonical birthday is February 5th, 1989, which means he would be an Aquarius and born in a year of the snake. However, because we don't know what years or months are associated with which zodiac signs in Mario universe, this really doesn't mean much if you try to combine it with this piece of lore from Sticker Star. One of these 2 notes are perhaps what the screen is somewhat famous for. This is because said note was written by Goombella from Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. What you might not have known is that this screen also contains a note written by Parakarry from the original Paper Mario. The note from Parakarry reads, "Thank you for your letter. Sorry I'm not here to receive it, but I'll get back to you shortly. Thanks. From Paracarry. Which is a little silly, since it would seem that he's responding to that letter after all, but eh. Meanwhile, the note from Goombella reads, Observations on the ancient civilization of the Chomp Ruins. University of Goombella. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the title of a research paper she wrote and published. What I'm particularly excited about is that this seems to be way more related to the actual study of archaeology than anything she says in Thousand Year Door. In Thousand Year Door, she was chiefly concerned with finding the treasure of the ancient civilization that was destroyed by the Shadow Queen. But the reality is that archaeologists do not use treasures in their terminology. Rather, they would refer to things with the terms artifacts, features, and ecofacts, and stuff like that. This isn't even anything particularly exciting in the grand scheme of things. No one gives a shit about how archaeologists are portrayed in media, except for actual archaeologists and people with an interest in archaeology. Statistically, you don't even need to know that here, so why am I even going on a tangent? Fuck's sake! I love the Paper Mario series. Earlier, when I mentioned the business cards, you might have noticed that there was a soda branch section to the Mushroom Business Association. This is of course a nod to soda, or fizzy drink in the British English version, who's found in 2-1 Dry Baked Desert. Well, there's actually another note relating to them, which reads as follows. On sale now! Refreshing mushroom soda in a can. New mushroom flavor. Same great price! This confirms that soda, or fizzy drink, is a mushroom-flavored can of soda. This is a fucking bizarre flavoring choice, even considering that most Mario games take place in the Mushroom Kingdom, and everything is mushrooms. But to be honest, it's not too different a concept from Coconut Mall's cafeteria's mushroom juice, or the mushroom shakes from Super Paper Mario. But this really makes me wonder what a mushroom-flavored soda would even taste like, though. Something tells me the earthy flavor and fizzy texture of the drink would be horrible together. Besides, is the base concoction from before the carbonation blended mushrooms, or the leftover water from boiling mushrooms? What kind of edible mushrooms does it use? I have no fucking clue. Yeah, I'm so curious. I don't think I'll be able to easily experiment with stupid cooking ideas yet, so if anyone watching is able to order, or better yet, forage edible mushrooms and experiment with a mushroom-flavored soda and wants to suffer, please let me know how horribly it goes. Anyway, there's another note pertaining to some of the Thing allies in Sticker Star. It reads as follows. Musical School of Musical Things. Student enrollment. Trumpet course, violin course, electric guitar course. This, of course, is referring to the three musical Thing allies. Trumpet, violin, and guitar. I wonder what the musical school is like, though. From here on out, all of the notes are grouped. They're organized from the most understandable ones to the most vague ones. Let's go! Paper wad made of 100% paper. No shit, Sherlock! This is garbage. Please dispose of it. No shit, Sherlock! Give me back my coins! I have no idea who could have written this, but it reminds me of the samurai footsteps of coins from Super Paper Mario, who claims that all coins in the universe belong to him. I doubt the reference was intentional, because who of the writers would think, yes, let's reference a character from Super Paper Mario, but rather than reference someone important or memorable from that game, let's reference an obscure and specific optional boss that nobody is going to remember off the top of their head. But it is an interesting parallel. Calling all willing toads. Join up! Now recruiting to rebuild the grounds to reopen Stickerfest. Come on, join your fellow toad. A motivational flyer to get toads to join in on the rebuilding efforts, I see. Odd green guy spotted at Goomba Fortress! This seems to be a draft of the newspaper unlocked in Decalburg once you locate Luigi within Goomba Fortress. The finished copy of the newspaper actually has the headline of Mysterious Green Guy at Goomba Fortress! Joy letter. Forward this letter to 10 other people and you'll find joy. We're pretty sure. I'm fairly certain this is supposed to be a parody of, like... Okay, I don't know what they're called, but I've seen something similar on the comments of a Flash game somewhere a long time ago, and it was like, post this Flash game on 10 other sites and you'll find an iPhone beneath your pillow. I have no clue if something like this would be a copy pasta, a meme, or a scam, or something else entirely. And yes, I'm unironically baby, in case you're wondering after that anecdote. Mental note. I hope the author remembered whatever they were trying to remember. Nothing's written on here. Whoa. I don't know if this is just Mario internally remarking that there's nothing written on the note, or if the note literally has the words, "Nothing's written on here, whoa," written on it. If the latter is the case, why the fuck is this note trying to gaslight people into thinking nothing is written on it when there is clearly something written on it? At least it's not as bad as the gatekeeper star who literally gaslights Luigi late in the story of Partners in Time. And yes, that's a thing that happens, and it fucking sucks ass, but that's not the point of this video, and I can go into a rant about it another time. Now hiring manservant. Light mansion cleaning, tea making, laundry, bookcase tidying. 2 coins an hour. Clearly a now hiring flyer from the Enigma mansion for the position of manservant. My question is, was this put out by the forebear from before his manservant was hired, and the manservant is the one who took the job? Or was this instead put out by the manservant when they were acting as the owner of the mansion, and they were looking for their own manservant? Or is it both? If only the latter is the case, then holy fucking shit, the manservant turned owner would be a horrible boss, and I fervently hope that they're not the one who inherits ownership of the Enigma mansion once the forebear dies is for real, because 2 coins an hour does not sound like a living wage as compensation for a full-time job. If only the former is the case, then holy fucking shit, the forebear is a horrible boss. But this would also make for a really fucking interesting and dark additional theory if this was the case. If the forebear was a shitty boss who underpaid the manservant, and the forebear mysteriously died only to come back once the painting was paperized into place, does this mean that the manservant tried to kill him in revenge and thought they'd succeeded but actually failed? Did they merely ambush paperize the forebear and trap him in the painting to get rid of him without killing him? And if so, does this mean that people other than Curtsy and her species can paperize? And if any of this is the case, why did the forebear keep the manservant around even though they tried to get rid of him? I know they probably didn't mean for this note to be interpreted in this dark of a way, but like, don't make things vague if you don't want people to imagine fucked up scenarios? Anyway, if both of these are true, then holy fucking shit! History repeats itself for no good reason? Fuck's sake! I'm just gonna move on to the next note already before I get stuck over-extrapolating on just this one. The number 17 in tally marks. I have no idea what the 17 refers to, but I get an utterly horrified feeling about it, considering it's written in tally marks. Tally marks are only ever used to count upwards, so what was the author counting? My first guess is a kill count of some sort, but I know that's probably not what the writers meant at all, because that's a little too heavy for a game marketed primarily towards kids. I have no clue! Shoulder massage for 30 minutes. I wonder if 30-minute shoulder massages are a real thing that people order to treat severely stiff or painful shoulders. Surfshine Ship Boarding Pass, 2nd class, cabin 3B. This ticket cannot be refunded. A ticket for the Surfshine ship. I'm not sure if this is referring to the ship the Surfshine captain and later Mario pilots, or a different ship, but either way I think it's pretty interesting. If it's the ship that we mainly see in Sticker Star, then this implies that although the in-game ship is very, very small, it would be much bigger if you expanded the world into being more realistic or some shit. For example, if you're making an extensive Gijinka universe. I don't think it's the ship that got shipwrecked around where Gooper Blooper is fought, because that ship is stated to have been a fishing ship, and this seems more like a passenger-bearing ship. Invoice. Sticker artwork, 30 coins. Sticker printing, 80 coins. Appears to be a receipt from the in-universe artist of one of the stickers or something. Interesting, so not all of the stickers fall from the sticker comments. Perhaps it's referring to the way thing stickers are made? How does the sling a thing process work in game? In Gijinka Universe, I have a different explanation for it since it's Gijinka Universe and you can't just yeet people and turn them into stickers, because that would be extremely rude, but I'm trying to figure out what this means with regards to what is strictly canon, because I don't want to mix my headcanons and canons too much in a lore video. Who knows? Mushrooms, 3. Leaves, 2. Sugar, 2 tablespoons. My first thought was that this was some sort of large amount of sweetened mushroom-infused tea, but I actually have no clue. It's clearly the ingredient section of a recipe of some sort. It could be for the mushroom-flavored soda, but I don't know for sure. And even if that was the case, that would be an even weirder combination of flavor and texture. Preservation instructions. Avoid exposure to direct sunlight, high temperatures, and humidity for maximum freshness. I think this might be preservation instructions for super mushrooms. I do think it's interesting that the people of the Mushroom Kingdom seem to enjoy using super mushrooms and other items and power-ups in cooking, though I do have to wonder if there's some sort of cooking process to make the mushrooms fit for consumption. Super mushrooms are based on the real-life Amanita muscaria, which is a famously toxic mushroom. Do not fucking eat it. That's not to say that these fictional mushrooms don't behave differently than the real-life mushrooms they're based on, though. I just think it's neat. Anyway, tangent over, continue. Grand reopening! Bring this flyer for 55% off! Holy fucking shit, that's a great fucking deal! It doesn't say which store this is for, though I'm sure if you were to illustrate what this flyer looks like, the visuals would probably tell you which store, but I would assume the sticker shop in Decalburg. Monday, vacation. Tuesday, open. Wednesday, vacation. Thursday, vacation. Friday, mushroom day. Saturday, vacation. Fun fact, I initially read this note the wrong way in my head until I was writing the script for this video. And this is why you should always organize text boxes like this to be easier to read and not get confused by. Dry. 000 10 10 2. Pock. I don't know. 2 2 40x 8. Poke Team wins! I think this is a baseball score for Dry Bake Stadium? I think? It's the weirdest goddamn baseball score I've ever seen. Either way, Tower Power, your team is very good at baseball. To Goomba. I solved that riddle of yours. It's 423. Maybe. I'm pretty sure. From Goomba. A nod to the main puzzle of 1-4, Hither Thither Hill. The solution is actually 4123. Toad. 18 out of 40 correct. Please see me in my office. This is someone's test paper. They did not do well at all, though they still got a little less than half the questions correct. That's better than nothing. Worth noting is that there's no letter grading. Does this imply that schools in the Mushroom Kingdom don't give students letter grades? That's fucking amazing if that's the case. Oh no, this next one is gonna be a pain in the ass for me to read. Bear with me, because I'm gonna go slow. XD3R B8HH 9ZR2 FL16. I have no idea what this even means. Da-da-da-dum! On the other side of the giant stone door, there's a giant Yoshi! Yes! It actually exists! This is a nod to the giant stone gate at the beginning of 2-1, Dry Bake Desert, and to the Yoshi Sphinx that watches over the desert sands.
Shellshock 1. Lately Shellshock 3 seems a bit down. Maybe he's got some troubles over. From Shellshock 2.
Speaking of the Yoshi Sphinx, this is a memo from one of the 3 paratroopers who are flying around the Yoshi Sphinx. Seems like they still speak like they're over radio even in written text. And finally, Goomba Koopa Paratroopa. A poor trap, a pook, a moog. Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, that should have been all of the notes. Like I said, I only found 41 of them, which is a weird number. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if there were some I missed by being too lazy to check any further. If you know of any more, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video documenting this one specific screen. This video took so long to make. I've been working on it since December of last year. As such, I probably won't make too many extensive videos like this too often, and if I do, I'm going to try to make them shorter so there's less effort involved. I might make okay quality work, but at the end of the day, I'm still lazy, plus this isn't like the main thing I want to do with my life. I do want to start a podcast on YouTube, mainly to document Mario lore and talk about my opinions and casual critiques on games that I like. I don't aim to be a professional by any means, I just need a place to get the thoughts out so they can run around and play outside of my brain space and not be confined inside. Also, I feel like y'all barely know me in comparison to my other audiences who see my live tweets and such, so I think it'd be a good opportunity to express myself on YouTube. Anyway, thank you for watching, and take care!